Hi Sparkles of Light, this is CherryEnchantress and this is your daily dust. I'm doing it for March 29th. If you're watching in real time, Friday, March 29th, which is my dad's birthday, and he passed away a while back, and he is now with me in spirit always. My dad, my hero, my special guardian angel, who, yes, in living was very dramatic, very diva-like, but a really fun, interesting, exciting type of person. And in spirit, in the fifth dimension, he's definitely very strong and positive and uplifting and helpful. And so, in honor of him, I'm using the Viking oracle, because my ancestors on his side of the family are definitely Scandinavian and Swedish and Norwegian. The first card, Fridgerd, is all about peace, basically peace. So I feel like this is a message that wherever he is peaceful, or he went peacefully, or there's peace now wherever he is. And this is something that you can attain on earth as well as in heaven. So this is about your peace, finding time for refuge. All of us need respite from the chaos and pressure of the world around us. There's profound sanctity in places that protect us. Silence is valuable now for you. Secure both the protection of your community and your own peace. Seek the action that will weave peace into the current situation. Here's a little poem to go with this, really beautifully written. Let's wait for the plane to pass. Somebody's flying somewhere. In the quiet shade of the great tree, I can lay down my sword, I can put down my shield, as your strong shield arm is about me. Here under your gaze all is well, woven into each stone and ray of sunshine is Fridgerd, and I claim peace. I'll give you a little background about Fridgerd. It was a place dedicated to the gods, and it was sacred to nature spirits like elves as well, located near trees, springs, stones, and other natural spots that were considered to be receptacles of great magical power. These were places the community or kinship group went to worship, kind of like us, fairies with the sparkles of light. And while access to some of these sacred places were restricted to those of a certain rank or religious status, most were available to all members of the community, even oath breakers. There were, however, guidelines assuring there would be no hunting, harvest, or cultivation in these areas, and of course no blood spilled. Breaking the boundaries of the Fridgerd was a serious matter, the punishment for which could include death or exile. Kinship was a prime importance to the Vikings, which meant that peaceful relationships and strong bonds with families and kinship groups was important too. When a woman married into another family group, she was referred to as Frithweaver, as she was seen as knitting together her and her husband's family as kin, as well as providing the living links of children. The source word of Frid, the Old Norse Fridur, means a state of non-disturbance. So the concept of Fridgerd can be applied as a state of mind as well as a place. As a mental state, it suggests peace, protection, and loyalty. This card represents a peaceful way forward. Since peace comes from within, seek to understand what may be disrupting your peace and create a place of peaceful sanctuary to support your inner sense of peace. I love that. The middle card, the Halls, makes me think of my dad. He looks a little bit like that guy. I mean, he wore a beard in his late years, and he was more brunette than blonde, but he definitely had the strong jaw and the piercing blue eyes. So the Halls is talking about being rewarded for your work. Be brave, even if you're afraid. Now is the time to work for the greater good. And may like to even volunteer. And here's the poem that goes with this. I am content, For I have passed from the world with the sword in my hand, blood spilled in your name, with honor in my heart. I join the All-Father, or is it golden-haired Freya? I am carried by the winged woman screaming my name. So I kind of like to envision my dad passing on to some kind of great hall in the heavens. But, you know, he had sort of, I mean, his funeral was quite the Viking tribute. It was very moving, and it was a lot of a men's chorus singing, and it was very profound and moving. And so I see that, but whether or not you have anyone in your life past or passing that you're dealing with, the halls means more than just another plane. It could also represent this sense of the greater good and doing good work. The halls can also represent like an earthly place that you go to celebrate. It could be like a church, or it could be synagogue, or it could be a community place, a building that's big and mighty, where a lot of people go there, and you feel peaceful and comfortable and happy with these groups of people. And that kind of ties in a little bit with Frigid. So peace and halls does actually, that plus that equals church to me a little bit. Freya's hall was known as hospitable and wondrous place. It was large and beautiful in the Eddas, and those who joined Freya were free to do nothing more than practice their fighting skills in preparation for the battle at the end of the days of Ragnarok. Odin's hall was situated in Asgard, and it had ancient texts that were built very, like, I could see libraries too being part of this place where you like to go for peace and also education, and where people are, but you might, of course you have to whisper, not talk loudly. So some places where you join together with groups. And these halls, they're not like the Christian idea of heaven, because the halls were kind of more of like the same thing as earth, except graduated in a better level, a better kind of like just better place. It's like you have all the same riches that you would have on earth, and all the great foods and festivities and things, but you just have it's just more of a celebratory place, and a place that's honorable, like you earned it. So the halls reminds us to step out of our needs and consider the greater good, because admittance to the halls was seen as a reward for your honor, for courage, and also for giving up your life for the community. But in this context, we can say for sacrificing some of your time to help others, time and money, and that is an honorable thing. So a little bit of that's happening here in your world on earth here is very much like the halls of the Viking lands. So the final card is Ride Ho. Your joys are a signpost to your purpose and destiny. The things that light you up. That's the clue. The journey, also remember this, the journey is as important as the destination. Focus on the now rather than the burdens of the past or the unrealized future. Stretch, aim for new horizons, work with the rhythms of life, not against them. And the poem for this lovely card is, as the wheel turns, I am at the center, seeing all things as they are right now, being within each step, free to choose, blue sky, green fields, I am, ride ho. I feel like this could be a message this is the actual message from Spirit. So maybe the other two cards are kind of like where you should be, and, kind of a sign from my own ancestor saying there's peace. But for you to achieve peace, remember on earth to be present in your moments. So With lives deeply connected to the seasons, the Norse were more mindful of the now of life, and its rhythmically unfolding more than we are. They ate, they lived, they traveled, they raided according to the seasons. Ride-ho is a rune that is part of the Elder Futhark, and it reminds us to focus on every aspect of the now. Doing so will make each day rich and full of wisdom and awareness. The Vikings were adventurers and pioneers. They traveled great distances and understood that their journeys were to be as treasured as their destinations. In keeping with this concept, Ride-ho asks us to focus on every precious step of our own personal journey and not to concern ourselves too much with what might happen in the future or what has happened in the past, which would put me out of business, of course, because that's everybody's asking me what's happening in the future. But what I really like to do is not tell you what's happening in the future, is giving you the best possible set of circumstances that you can work with to manifest your future, because you are in control and you're co-creating with spirit. Ride-ho suggests that we unburden ourselves of the weight of the past entirely and step into a new, unencumbered, so that to make the journey both easier and more joyful. By asking us to ride the natural flow, Ride-ho offers an energy of personal freedom. If we reject others' time frames for us, their unreasonable expectation and their opinions, and instead look to our own sense of timing and our own feeling of the rightness of that to which we are drawn, we will experience the space and freedom to choose wisely and without excessive anxiety. And so this is earth and air element, and I want to also add that this deck has a particular description about the Elder Futhark rune Ride-ho, but I would like to also give you an alternative message and meaning. So an alternative message for Ride-ho is to travel. It also represents the wheel and rhythm. And I picked it because R is the beginning letter of my dad's name, Rodney. So Ride-ho is a symbol for travel, which could be represented by sudden change of a physical setting. It could also be cycles and rhythms in life, and just plain journeys, evolutions, and habits. It could represent astrological wheel. Mercury is going retrograde. Not yet, but almost. We're getting close. And in real time, let's say. And then also, you know, the moon phases are something that we often deal with, and we just had a full moon lunar eclipse. And so those are energies in real time that you may be dealing with, and work with it instead of against it, and be in the present, and you'll be fine. So I hope you like that. Faith, trust, and pixie dust.